All right. So, what is our topic today? Food as medicine, guys.
Food is medicine.
We're not doctors, though.
Please, stayed at a Holiday Inn.
That's totally your thing lately. So,
For those of the people that aren't old enough, that used to be a commercial. Stay at a Holiday Inn means you knew everything.
yeah, we
She
don't
got a
have
good-
cable anymore.
She got a good night's rest. Anyway, we are not doctors. We have our own health journeys. We have stories from other people on their own health journeys. And what everything leads back to is food is medicine, or as medicine.
Yeah.
What did you say? You said is, I said
Food
as.
yeah.
As.
Yeah. Just like I said, we're not doctors, guys, so we can't prescribe anything, and this isn't medical advice, obviously. But
before Western medicine,
yeah, there was
Tons
common
of-
sense in food.
tons of indigenous people all over the world that used food to do their all
And so-
natural.
On that note, that was one of the reasons that we chose black walnuts for the first add-on ingredient to our foundation chocolate recipe.
Right.
So
Black walnuts, for those that don't know, we're in Northeast PA, but black walnuts are native to North America, mostly in, I guess, Northeast, Midwest. It is in the Midwest
like
too.
the Northeast and the coast. and
Anywhere
stuff
where
like
there's
that,
forests,
yeah.
I
I
guess.
don't know about that.
But black walnuts are totally different than English walnuts. English walnuts are usually the things that you find in a mixed bag of nuts, or a lot of times they're used in just recipes. Number one, they're a lot more prevalent. They're easier to get out of the shell. And
The English walnut.
English walnut
Yeah.
is so a lot less expensive. Black walnuts are
Not the case.
Black walnuts are not, because they're harder to get out of the shell. 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 out of 10, you're not going to get a whole walnut out of there. Most of it ends up in pieces. Luckily, when you get it, you can get large pieces. But one thing about a black walnut tree as a whole, literally wholes as well, the walnut whole, every part of it is beneficial. There is not a part that can go to waste from the wood that is just beautiful and hard. That can be for furniture, for fuel. The fact that it's a natural iodine, so it doesn't even have things that really grow around it. That
there are a lot of plants that a black walnut tree will kill off, basically. Right. A lot of invasive species, which I love because I love native plants, but there's also a lot of native things that don't really get along with it. So you'll only kind of see specific things around black walnut trees.
Yeah.
So we kind of take that as a good thing, because when we put that same stuff in our body, it kind of helps to flush some bad things out of our bodies.
So black walnut, black walnut hull, which is the green, looks like a little oversized golf ball, smaller than tennis ball.
Yeah.
That hull can actually be soaked, as in making a tincture, and used as
an extract,
as a natural iodine. It fights a lot of infections, and we've used it in our own home. We've shared it with family and friends.
We actually wrote about this on the website. I will link to, in fact, I think I may already have linked to a blog post in the description that talks about all the benefits of black walnuts and provides the data behind all that awesome info. So if you're curious, check out the link in the description.
Yeah, there's lots of history behind black walnut. Then you get down to the nut itself. Then the shells are actually ground and used in
everything from as like an abrasive for sandblasting.
Sandblasting, that was what I was thinking for. Yeah, even in driveways and in just all kinds of just different atmospheres, making sandpaper, all different kinds of things. So it's a great abrasion. So anyway, black walnut is one of the things, as Gail said, that we came up with because it's natural. It's natural to us because we found it in our own property, and we started using it way before we even had Back Mountain Microgreens as a business. So it came very natural to us that when we were picking an ingredient for the chocolate, and we had come up with lots of different ideas for ingredients. And one thing that we thought about was doing a granola mix. And then we kind of pulled back and we're like, granola has a lot of things that people don't want. Yeah. Or, maybe there's a lot of grains because there's a lot of mix in there. And then it was a lot of, sweetness and stuff. So we're like, you know what, how about if we pull back and stick with what we're already doing, which is natural, and do our chocolate 5 ingredients being all natural, and then having the add-on be a natural product. So it still get crunch. Black walnuts are fantastic in flavor. They almost have a vanilla liqueur. They have a very deep, rich.
It's like boy, this is gonna have a really bad connotation, like an astringent kind of a flavor, but in a good, rich way. I guess I don't really know how to explain it, but
Yeah,
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
They are fantastic. If you've never had one, get one. It's worth whatever price it is that you're getting them. They're fantastic.
I don't think we need to focus on black walnuts the whole episode. Like, it's just, guys, that was like the launch pad.
Yeah,
you know,
that's why
that's
we're
where we
focusing on it.
started.
Yeah, and go from there.
And the whole point is, we have some new varieties coming out soon. I don't want to put the cat out of the bag, but it's just exciting to talk about. We've chosen other ingredients that are, you know, natural, and we are excited to talk about the benefits of those as well once they actually come out. So it's kind of a whole, I don't know, a whole thing of just starting with
microgreens. Microgreens being health benefits to those, and then staying when we did the chocolate. It was, how do we make the chocolate was kind of for years I joked with Gail, I sang the Willy Wonka song, and then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, I'm like, why are we not making microgreen chocolate? And it was like, yeah, well, who wants that?
Yeah.
Well, we found out a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that like it. So now that's another part of our business that's growing. And it's really come full circle to the health aspects of it, and food being medicine. And a lot of people that buy the chocolate look at the ingredients and tell us, this is great because I can't have chocolate. Or
it's kind of funny because we never really went into it with the plan that batch number 1, the broccoli microgreen chocolate, was going to be like our foundation recipe and we would add to it. But that's kind of exactly what's happening. We're finding the benefits of the broccoli. People love it. They love that you get that benefit without tasting broccoli. So we've just kind of kept that. And one of the bigger, I guess you could say, complaints that we've heard from people is it's too rich. But it seems like, guys, as we're adding other stuff to it and doing like our little trials without altering that base recipe, without adding any more sugar, it tastes sweeter. And so I'm really excited for the stuff that's coming out that doesn't taste as, I guess, what you could call bitter. You know, some people
dark
don't
chocolate,
like 82%. But I think a lot of, you know, everybody that you've had try it thus far has said, you know, without changing the base recipe, it tastes a lot less bitter and a lot sweeter than our original. So I'm really excited about that. But I also kind of just wanted to say, like, I don't know, maybe this could kind of be an update on our health journeys personally, because a lot has changed, I think, since our last update. But along the lines of food as medicine, I kind of wanted to say it's not just about what you're putting in, but what you're avoiding as well. Like, stay away from poison. So I think I've kind of mentioned it before. Mark Sisson is a guy in the health coaching space, and he's got like 10 principles of coaching or like good health. And one of those things is don't eat poisons. And it sounds so stupid when you say it out loud like that, but
because nobody would eat poison. Like, remember the Mr. Yuck stickers when you were younger that were stuck on stuff? Like, but you don't realize what is an ailment to your body sometimes.
And especially now, just this week, didn't the FDA announce now that their lab-grown eggs are going to be at the grocery store?
So, no, they're not going to sell lab-grown eggs, but lab-grown eggs are going to be used as an ingredient.
Exactly, guys. So
you got to look. You got to look now on, you know, something that's a baked good and go.
Is your food lab engineered?
Yeah, it may not be from a lab, but it's using lab ingredients. You know, which
is just crazy. So again, I go back to, maybe it's not about everything that we're putting in, but also just as importantly, the things that we're purposely like leaving out.
Right, and it's you have to be. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. What is diligent in your decisions, because you know, let's go back to the 40s when smoking was huge and smoking took off. Doctors were smoking while delivering babies, telling everybody it's okay.
Gosh,
it's good for your lungs. It's good to relax. It's good for this. It's good for that. Almost 50% of the United States was smoking back then. And then numbers went up and down. Now, I think the number's at like 10% of
There's
Americans
people like
smoke.
vaping and stuff like that,
but that's another thing. So my point of starting it was that they said back in the 40s that it was good for you. Now here we are. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
Now they say the same thing with vaping. Oh, it's not as bad as smoking. It's not going to hurt you. They're already finding out that the chemical stuff that's in there is worse. Yeah. There's kids, they have a thing that's called popcorn lung that they develop. That's irreversible. There's no coming back from that.
And that's from vaping.
That's from vaping.
I have not followed any of that.
So and now there's a big argument about medicinal marijuana. Oh, it's okay for you. It's okay for you. It's okay for you. To what extent? Smoking was okay for you too. 50, 60 years ago. Now they tell you that you shouldn't do it. You're going to die. Sorry if anybody can't hear us. There's a low
getting dive bombed here by a
flying, low flying Red Baron coming over. Snoopy's looking for Woodstock. He's still going.
Yeah.
I thought our neighbor was
like our roof.
I thought our neighbor was making noise with the weed whacker, but sorry if that drowned us all out.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. This is not a good week for me. I can't remember what I'm gonna say for the life of me.
Brain fog. She got COVID fog. The COVIDs, as my mother would call it.
As your mother would say.
It's a joke. She doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And if she did, we wouldn't care anyway.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Maybe it'll come back to me.
But the point of it being is that you need to you have to do your due diligence. You have to research. You can't just take it for if you go to the doctor. We're not saying don't go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. But when they prescribe you something, look a little bit more into it, or maybe find out the natural to that, or find out what your ailment is, or what the doctor has said your ailment is, and then find out what people do naturally to alleviate that ailment. Mm-hmm. It's a good possibility that it'll probably do better naturally without any more. If you hear the pills, there's always a side effect, the list as long as your arm, and it's like, okay, well, now if I take this, now I'm going to take this, 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 and this, because this thing caused this, 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 and this. Whereas if you just maybe ate beetroot, you'd be all right.
All right, so I remember what I was going to say has nothing to do with anything at this point, other than the fact that I think a lot of microgreen farms are going toward growing pot. That's what came up. And I just feel like, I'm going to call it, I feel like over the next couple of years, the people that can afford or that get approved to go that route may go that route. We may lose a lot of people in the microgreen space because that's probably more, I would assume, is a lot more
financial,
lucrative.
Sure.
Yeah. But okay, so who cares about that? That's not where we're going. What I was going to say now is I feel like the whole, gosh, I lost it again.
Oh. This is going to be a long episode. Wake me up when it's over.
Oh. It was something to do with.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
I wanted to go over like where we are with our health journeys, because you're
apparently not enough ginkgo biloba for you.
Oh, please, it's just it's been a rough week, but no, I feel like it's worthwhile to talk about where we're at. Like doing the carnivore thing, you're talking about taking pills and having somebody prescribe something. First of all, I think nutrition. I wish I had a number for this, guys, but I've heard from many trained clinicians that doctors are not trained much on nutrition. Out of the whole spectrum of their training, maybe 10% or so of it is actually on nutrition, which I think is an absolute crime, really. I feel like it's just so many of our health ailments are related to diet. It's just mind-blowing that doctors aren't trained more on how to optimize diets. But anyway, what I was going to say is I think it would be helpful to talk about what we're doing in diet because, okay, we don't have any major health issues between the two of us, but what do most people take pills for? Inflammation. They have a headache. They don't feel good. They're tired. They're lethargic. They don't have a lot of energy. I've seen tons of improvements with all of that stuff since quitting eating garbage, which I would consider poison. It's day 58 or 59 now for me, carnivore, and kind of dirty carnivore. I don't want to say I'm perfect. Definitely not. I think on our last update, you totally called me out for having the sugar-free Jello, which is aspartame and all that really nasty stuff. But
mouth cancer.
The whole point was to get the fat, to get the cream. And I've definitely kind of feel like I've fallen into a cadence of I have like a really high fat day, then I have a high protein day, and it kind of like ebbs and flows and goes back and forth. But I think I've kind of hit a sweet spot of like not dealing with ridiculous cravings anymore, and I'm happy with Like, I know I could kind of feel when I want more fat, and I could kind of feel when I want more protein. And I think one of my biggest complaints prior to carnivore was just no energy. I always felt really bad and tired and just couldn't keep up with the house cleaning and stuff like that. And now I feel like, I'm kind of under the weather this week, but I feel like overall I've been like a little whirlwind around the house. I have tons of energy. I feel good. Other than this week, my brain was like going in overdrive. I was getting tons of projects done. So all the stuff that people, not all, but a lot of things that people take pills for, I don't need a pill for a backache or whatever anymore because I feel really good, So I guess
And that plays into food as is. I'm confused now.
Food as I can't even talk either.
Food, medicine, fill in the middle, wherever it fits for you. Medicine, food, medicine.
How do you feel since last time we gave a health update, I was like a couple weeks into carnivore and you were not about it at all, but you've kind of turned a corner. Where are you at?
I am right here on the porch with you.
I'm gonna strangle you.
And that is all I can expect. I don't have a plan.
About where you're at.
I don't have a plan.
I'm telling you, or I'm asking you to tell people where you're at.
I just told you where I'm at, on the porch with you.
Oh my gosh.
Specifics. Medicine, food. I have, I think just like most people, a problem with sugar. Most of my sugar intake back in the day was consumed through alcohol, which is a 100% no-go. I haven't had a drink in over a year, and not even social, but sugary drinks besides from that. So iced tea, sweet teas. It wasn't big soda or anything like that, but definitely tea, iced teas with lots of sugar and stuff like that. So that is huge. And I know from the past that if I stop drinking that I can lose 5 to 10 pounds in the first week, just from not consuming that sugar. The other one is breads, pastas, things like that. If I cut that stuff out, same thing. I could lose another 5 or 10 pounds from not consuming that stuff. So, some people can have things. In case anybody heard the doot diddle doot. Anyway, the things like we did an episode about addiction. What may be a vice for somebody else? Maybe somebody can have one drink and somebody else can't even have that one drink because it tips something else. Gail's mentioned this about cheesecake. Somebody's like, oh, well, you could just have a small slice or a bite. Nope, she's going to eat the whole cake.
Yeah, somebody's told me once, everything in moderation. And I didn't say anything in the moment because I'm not very quick on my feet, kind of a thinker. But even in the midst of that moment, I remember thinking, that doesn't work for me because I don't moderate.
And everybody's different. There may be some people that can, and that's great. So for me, if I need to remove sweet tea, I can have unsweetened tea, if I want, or hot or cold, maybe with something like a squeeze of lemon or something like that. But once you start sweetening it, then it's just a tip off to something else. I found I really enjoy kombuchas, and I found a kombucha the other day that had no sugar in it, but it still has sugar because that's how kombucha is made. It's a fermentation process. So whatever was fermented has sugar. There is that carb in there. Maybe it didn't have added sugar, but there was still sugar. So the sweetness was, I bought a couple of cans and I thought, I'd have, like one here, one there. I had all 4 of them gone, throughout the day because it was like, ooh, where's that? That's sweet. Oh, I'll have another one.
And I think at one point you actually mentioned that you were picking up on like reaching for comfort almost rather than. Yeah, it wasn't for want.
Yeah, it wasn't for need. It was for want. And it was just, and I think we've had that conversation between us. I don't know if we've ever brought it up on episodes, but Gail watches one girl that says if steak or if meat can't fix it, you're not hungry.
And if you're hungry, if you're not hungry, food is not going to fix it. So many times, even our kids, they walk to the fridge and they're bored.
They just open the fridge and they're just staring in there.
It's something to do. Yeah. It's unfortunately probably something they've seen us do. They've learned it, and it's like
we've even heard them say it without us saying anything. Yeah. We had one the other day that was just looking in the fridge and he's like, "I'm just bored, hungry."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, man, that's what we've come to, is that boredom equals fill it with, food is a void.
But my gosh, how many decades ahead of us are they? Because at least they see that now, you know.
But we all do it. It's comfort. Gail was gone away the one night, and I was left on my own. And next thing I knew,
You're
I
not good on your own.
fell into a bag of Middlesworth potato chips that apparently
Was calling your name.
Was empty before she got home. So that's not the route to take, and you pay for it. So when we're talking about the food as medicine or food as medicine, you really feel the difference. If you eat that stuff, it weighs you down. You feel
Even
tired.
the other day, you said you had a Gatorade without thinking about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you felt horrible, and then like an hour, 2 hours later, it hit you. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to figure out what it was. There's a comedian I remember once talking about eating at a fast food restaurant, and he's like, it's like, oh, fantastic. He's like, then so you feel like I got hit with like a tranquilizer dart, like a bear in hibernation. He's like, that's all you want to do. Can't remember the last time we had a fast food, run, but
yeah.
I know when we did, it was like, yes, let's go get it, let's have it, and then you have it, and you go, why did I do that?
Yeah, bad call.
Anybody who's ever had anything to drink, and drank too much, it's the same thing. Like waking up in the morning with a hangover, going, why did I do that? But then you're doing it again 3 days later. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing with food. There's a food hangover
and
too.
I was just gonna say, I've had many a chocolate chip cookie hangover in my life.
Yeah.
It's almost like I try to punish myself and say, I'm gonna eat so many cookies that
I will never eat a cookie
again. Yeah. And you feel sick to your stomach
for a day or two. That works.
And then the next day you're eating the other half of that carton of cookies. So that was my college days all throughout. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up where I'm at.
We're not doctors. We're not doctors. That's all. They just want to keep reiterating so that nobody's like, oh, they told us to do. I didn't tell anybody to do anything. I'm telling you what we do. Just like a testimony from telling somebody that I'm a Christian. I give you my testimony, and you can't combat that because it happened to me.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. This is, I don't know, the 10th time that I've tried carnivore. Tried once in 2020. Went very well. And for some really dumb reason, even though it was going well, I stopped. And I have no clue why.
It was my fault. What it was?
It was a really good dinner, though.
But anyway, it was my fault.
But anyway, I stopped, and I didn't have to. Even if I did go off the rails that one night, I could have gone right back on the next day, and I chose not to. And it kind of like slowly, insidiously went back to exactly where I always was before, and it just went downhill again. After that, I tried multiple times and just couldn't ever make it past, like, say, the second week or so. And then, I don't know what it was. We were just talking about it the other day. A few weeks ago, almost 2 months ago, I guess now, I was just like, you know what? I'm doing it. It's over. I'm done. And it wasn't like I had any time, like, leading up to it thinking, okay, excuse me, I'm going to start carnivore this week, or I'm going to start on Monday. I forget what day of the week it was even, but it was just like, today is the day. And I am doing this, and I'm not going back. And I really haven't gone back. Like, this is the best I've done thus far. I've stuck to it, you know what I mean? And it's the first time really that I'm noticing how good it feels, guys. Like, I'm under the weather right now, but my energy has been up. I feel really good. And it's so funny because I kept on telling myself the excuse of, oh, maybe this just doesn't work for me. And I think in some public thing somewhere, I actually said, like, maybe carnivore just isn't going to work for me. I need carbs. I feel good when I have carbs or have a little bit of honey or sugar or whatever. And some guy, like, shot back at me, well, yeah, it's like a drug. Somebody that's on a drug, when they get another hit, it feels great. Like, you don't feel horrible until later or whatever, when you're going through a withdrawal. But it's
and carbs are a sugar high.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what
exactly. And I thought to myself, okay, I go so long carnivore, and then I have a couple of pieces of pizza and I feel great. But then if I did it the next day, and the next day, I wouldn't feel so great. And I think this is the first time I've really honestly stuck with it, because I think to myself, the ramifications of going backward just aren't worth it anymore. Like, it's just, I'm at that point where I don't want to go backward. And it's slow at this point. I think I lost 10 or so pounds right out of the gate in the very beginning, and it's kind of been a very slow roll since then. But I'm trending in the right direction. I feel good in general, so I'm going to keep going. And I'm really excited that this is the first time I've really gotten here. I think I'm over the hump, which I think is
always a good spot to be.
So I'm going to keep praying about it, because it's definitely not in my own strength that it's happened. So there you go.
That's it.
Got a neighbor started up the weed eater, guys, so maybe time to head out. I think I've blabbered on long enough.
I think we got pretty much what we're talking about. I mean, take everything that we said and apply it to anything. We started off with our black walnut thing to tell you a little bit about what we do, how we implement our ingredients into our products so that we can share them with everybody else so that we're not feeding people poison. And, they can be, knowledgeable and trustworthy in that, in a relationship, knowing that the product that they get from us doesn't have a poison.
Yeah.
That we're not pushing that.
Yeah. And we're not perfect. But guys, we are trying our hardest to make our products as high quality as we could get them.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like it's worth it and people appreciate it. And even though we may not look like the picture of health yet, we'll get there. All right, guys. BackMountainMicrogreens.com. Any questions? Let us know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.
Let us know what food you use for medicine.
Alrighty. See you guys.
See you next time.